Welcome back. I'm going to be joined in a few seconds by members of the Grand Bahama Coalition that have come out to voice concerns about the power company on the island. They say it is unfair that residents on the island, beginning on October 1st, to cover a storm recovery and stabilization fee. Officials said the bill was a result of the $15 million in costs following the deadly storm. Joining me tonight from Grand Bahama, Pastor Eddie Victor, and Kirk Russell. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to be with you tonight.
I want to get into our discussion. We saw last week that even more Grand Bahama residents turned out protesting these charges and so forth. I want us to take a look at what we saw, and then we can discuss that. Do you have that for us? Let's take a look at that, and then we can discuss the information in a second.
We didn't charge you right, so we have to charge you again. People are getting 3 bills in 1 month. In no way or no shape or form, my mortgage should compete with my light bill in a 1-bedroom condo. And each and every Grand Bahamian out here right now is standing for that right, which is their right to be treated fairly on where they buried their neighbor's trade. Didn't use the energy that they're saying that we did, and they're estimating bills, and now they want to implement. If that's not enough, they want to now implement a SRS charge for us to pay for us to cover the cost. What a natural disaster cost? What a natural disaster cost. They want us now to cover the cost. Look at They want us to cover the cost of a natural disaster.
The major question now is, how much more you want to put on the backs of the people in Grand Bahama? Where is the 5 MPs? Where is all those people who sit in Parliament to fight and stand for the people of Grand Bahama? It takes this young man to come out here. We've been fighting for years, almost 10, 12 years. They took us siesta, the Freeport Power took us siesta, and now they come back and they just slam you with it. I got bills coming out of 8 Mile Rock. 2 bills, June 5th, June 8th, 400, 500. How can that be? Fix it. Fix it. I don't agree. I'll be honest with you, I don't agree with Oika coming to regulate, because Oika can't take care of us. So how they can take care of us?
Now, according to the Grand Bahama Power Company, it plans to recover $15 million of restoration costs from its electricity customers. The coalition obviously feels that whoever owned the infrastructure should pay for it, I guess, is your view. And with the Grand Bahama economy set up the way it is, residents can't afford to incur any more fees. Let's begin with you, Pastor Eddie Victor. And obviously, this is your fundamental concern as to why these protests have been lost, is another added expense on the back of struggling residents already.
Yes. It's good to be with you tonight, but it's important for us to help you to really understand the situation in Grand Bahama. I know that you've had news crews that have come down and have seen the devastation in the aftermath of Dorian. Our team, our executive team, we've been very much involved with hurricane relief efforts and restoration for about a year. We have been working with NGOs such as Israel Aid, and particularly we've been working with, in partnership with Grand Bahama Disaster Relief Foundation. You've done some coverage on the great work that they're doing. They partnered with pastors like myself. We had a network of pastors, of 130 pastors. We distributed to over 38,000 people and with food supplies and other hurricane. People are in a bad state. Most people are still dealing with home repairs. In our relief efforts, as we distributed, furnitures and appliances and beds, we distribute some new beds this coming weekend. Before the weekend, we'll be distributing. People need help. The economy is struggling. It was bad enough when we got the employment assistance that after the hurricane, this social services department reported that we had some 50% unemployment. But then came the COVID pandemic, and this took the situation in Grand Bahama. It was already at a bad place, to a place we've never been before. And so people are in a very bad situation. And I might as well tell you, the residents, business people, they are mad. And and to want to bring on such a large recovery charge at this time just reveals the heartless nature of this Emera Grand Bahama Power Company. We must keep in mind this company is 100% foreign-owned Canadian, and they seem to be more concerned about their profits than people. And so our coalition, along with the residents and business people of Grand Bahama, are angry.
I want to bring. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My question is just simply, how are people now paying for their electricity bills? If you have an unemployment rate of perhaps more than 50%, that's more than half of the population of Grand Bahama perhaps without jobs or in an income. How are they living? How are they paying electricity bills every month? How is that happening?
Well, here's the reality of what's happening in the economy here. Our economy is staying afloat because of the millions of dollars that have been injected in here by the government with the assistance program. All of the fantastic NGOs that have come on this island, they're pouring in millions of dollars into our economy. When you talk about these NGOs, Samaritan Purse, Convoy of Hope, the Grand Bahama Disaster Relief Foundation, Israel Aid, Mercy Corps. There's a myriad of amazing NGOs that are pouring in millions of dollars into our economy to keep it afloat. And should an economy like Grand Bahama, being kept afloat by all these millions of dollars, take those dollars to pay a power company that wants to recover loss for their infrastructure? We say no way it should happen.
I want to bring Kirk Russell into the conversation, because Kirk, if you're talking about people eating in Grand Bahama thanks to NGOs and the unemployment assistance program, which is providing some level of financial support, that's going to run out in a matter of weeks. The unemployment benefit will end. And if NGOs who've been doing the feeding program, we know the national feeding program will also come to an end. People are already being notified. What's going to happen to the people of Grand Bahama when this national feeding program comes to an end, when the unemployment benefit comes to an end? What's going to happen to people in Grand Bahama who aren't working?
Good evening, Mr. Watson, and good evening, Bahamas. Mr. Watson, that is the crux of our argument. That is the crux of our concern with what is being proposed, the unreasonableness of what is being proposed by Emera. I think Pastor Victor was quite lenient when he said that, when he talked about 50%. There is no doubt, and this is coming from social services, the unemployment deficit rate in Grand Bahama is around 60%. The tourism industry is totally decimated. There is no definite future as to what is going to happen with the Grand Lacayan property, which is the major anchor property for Grand Bahama. The airport is in dire strait. Our hospital is in dire strait. The economic situation on Grand Bahama has been in dire strait, not from Dorian, but prior to Dorian. Dorian compounded, and then COVID-19 completed the situation that we are in Grand Bahama. It is dire. The majority of our people, those outside of the industrial area, even so much of them in the industrial area, but the majority of them are basically $210 salaried people, minimum wage people working in the little shops, in the little fast food areas. Those persons are minimum wage. Persons are seeing $600+ light bill for single 1-bedroom apartment. The rent is $600. The light bill is $640, $650. Brother Watson, the bottom line of what is happening with Emera in Grand Bahama is that Emera is hell-bent on operating a cost-free operation. Emera does not want to absorb any of the costs for operation in Grand Bahama. You remember, Clint, a few years ago, a new power plant was constructed on Peel Street. They said it cost about $80 million. We don't see the $80 million, but that's what they said it cost. The entire cost of the construction of that plant was passed over to the customers. When we went through Hurricane Matthew, the entire cost of restoration, all of those poles, the electrical wires, the complete distribution system was restored on the backs of the customers. We have a 100% pass-through fuel surcharge. So the customers at Emera in Grand Bahama pays 100% for the fuel that is used to generate the turbines. We pay 100% of all preventative maintenance costs. We pay 100% for if there is damage or there's a disaster and there has to be reconstruction. Every cost that Emera incurs is passed 100% over to the customer. Where, Brother Watson, where in the world do you know any business is able to get away with something like that?
Pastor Victor.
It is.
Sure. Pastor Victor, and I'm asking this because I'm thinking that the people at Grand Bahama Power Company would want to be in touch with the needs of the people. Have you, as the coalition, spoken to them, and what have they said to you?
That is a very good question. Early on in our campaign, when it began in September 2013, we sought to meet with the executives, the CEO of the power company. And you understand, Clint, when it comes to getting a decision, you need to deal with the top. And so we were never able to get a meeting with the CEO of the power company in our beginning of our campaign. And as much as we tried, we could not. They wanted us to meet with lower level management. And we had expressed that, listen, we want to meet with the top management. One time they gave us a call. They called me and said, Pastor Victor, we understand you have some concerns. We would like to meet with you and talk about it. So I said, fine. Could you make sure that the CEO of the company is in that meeting, and I will show up at any time you want? Our team will come. That never happened. So as a result, I got to mention this. We did have an official meeting that was hosted by the government with our coalition, the executives of the power company, and the executives of the Port Authority. We met in what was called a round table, and this happened after our very first protest and demonstration, which took place on February 26, 2014. We had over 200 plus demonstrators. We marched around the power company 7 times, and I know, Clint, you would know the significance of that. And we had an amazing demonstration. And as a result of that demonstration, the government called the round table. And we were able to have 2 meetings in this round table format, and our company pulled out before we could have a 3rd meeting.
Let's pause right there. You said they pulled out before the 3rd meeting. Let's take a commercial break and come right back after this and continue our conversation. We're back. You're watching me on the headlines. Back after this.
Hey Rev customer, paying your Rev bill is now easier than ever. Why leave the comfort of your home when you can pay off your bill right from your nearest device? You can check your account balance, pay your bill, and manage all of your Rev services online using My Account. Simply log into my.rev.bs, sign into your My Account, view your most recent bill, and pay online. It's that simple. We are committed to providing you with excellent, reliable service no matter what. Stay connected with Rev, anytime, anywhere.
It all starts with quality. Wendy's is built on quality. From relocating our Mackey Street restaurant to enhance the dining experience, to ensuring that our customer service meets the experience that our guests deserve. We do it Dave's way. We don't cut corners, ever. This is our commitment to you and your family. Quality in everything we do. It's what we stand for. It's who we are. Quality is our recipe.
Welcome back to the show. My guests are members of the Coalition for Concerned Citizens in Grand Bahama, Pastor Eddie Victor and Kirk Russell. I want to continue our discussion. We're talking about intervention opportunity with the government and the power company. You met several times. On the third time, I think you were saying, before the commercial break, they pulled out.
That is absolutely correct. This was a roundtable meeting hosted by the government. As a matter of fact, when we had finished our protest, and that actual date is February 25th. When we had finished our protest, we got a call from the Minister of Grand Bahama at that time, Dr. Michael Dowd, and he wanted to make sure that we would agree to do this roundtable meeting, and I told him yes, we would. And the government organized that roundtable meeting. We had two meetings that we covered a whole lot of issues concerning, and of course, our objective was very singular. That our objective was to bring down the cost of electricity. And in our second meeting, we got around to trying to convince them to at least give a discount to senior citizens. All right, and we had ended the meeting at that point, and then the next thing, by the time we were going to have the third meeting, the power company sent a letter to the government of Bahamas saying that they are no longer interested in continuing with these meetings because they don't see them as productive. That was their communication to the government.
And when did this take place?
This took place 2014. We had meetings were in March of 2014. And we were able to assess early on the nature of this power company. Emera has had problems in many of the jurisdictions that they are in. Even in their country of Canada, there's several, you can find it on the web, the demonstrations that took place in Canada against this company, because they did similar things, increased rates, and for Grand Bahama, you have to understand, Grand Bahama for this company is a profitable company. That's why through legal corporate tactics, they forced the minority Bahamian shareholders, they forced them to sell their shares. Hear what I'm saying? They I guess in the United States you'll call this a corporate takeover. They forced minority Bahamian shareholders in the power company to sell their shares so they could take over the company 100%.
So this,
no.
Are you saying that Bahamian had shares in this power company?
Yes, and this company, and I stress again, through legal corporate maneuvering, legal Bahamian law.
Why would any government or system allow a foreign entity to take over such a large portion of the structure, pushing out the Bahamian ownership?
I listen. We protested it very strongly. We wrote a letter to the Prime Minister. We wrote a letter to the this would be the I think this is the Foreign Investment Board. We wrote a letter to Central Bank. We even wrote a letter to the Stock Exchange company that's here in the Bahamas. we tried every level to voice opposition to Bahamians being forced to sell their shares. Now, we were in actual contact with many of those Bahamian shareholders who did not want to sell their shares.
Really?
But they were forced to sell their shares. They were forced to accept the price that was determined by Emera. And they were forced out of the company in their own country. And a vital utility, such as a power company, fell into 100% ownership of a foreign company. And the government, they had to approve this sale, and our opposition and agitation caused only the decision to be delayed, probably a couple months. But at the final analysis, the government approved the sale of Grand Bahama Power Company. Minority shareholders approved sale, and they took over 100% control.
Wow. Talk about Bahamianization.
Yeah, in fact, Bahamian ownership went backwards decades with that transaction.
What happens now? Because I'm sitting here thinking, all of this agitating, have you been able to move the bar, move the hands? We've seen you for the last few weeks out there with the people complaining, and I'm wondering, where's the Ministry of Grand Bahama? Have they gotten involved? These are the people of Grand Bahama, right? You're talking about a foreign company and the people of Grand Bahama crying out for help. Where is the Ministry of Grand Bahama to intervene and say, listen, we have to stand with our people and bring help and relief to them? What are you saying, that you have been hitting the pavements by yourself and there's not been any kind of support from government for the people of Grand Bahama in this effort?
Brother Watts.
Yes,
Brother
go
Watson,
ahead.
We have been in this fight for around 8 years. Today it is reached the boiling point where the entire Grand Bahama population has been fed up with all the talking, and now they are prepared to hit the pavement and join us in the walking. And it is just a sad state of affairs. And let me just say this, that 25% of that company was owned by the employees of that company. And when that force out took place with Emera. We need solidarity in Grand Bahama, total solidarity, to stand against Emera. Emera is a foreign company. They operate as if Bahamians have no rights. As a matter of fact, Clint, we have 3 categories of pay, of charges on the island of Grand Bahama. We have charges for those persons who use kilowatt hours between 0 and 350. Those persons pay a rate of $17.56 per kilowatt hour. Then we have the group of people who pay between 350 to 800 kilowatts hour. Those persons pay $21.82 per kilowatt hour. That's about, if you use the full 800, that's about $174 for the first group. For the first group category, it's around $66. And then those who pay over, who use over 800 kilowatts hour, they pay a rate of about $22.26 per kilowatt hour. Now, here is the thing. If you use 800 kilowatt hours of electricity per month, the max, in that particular group, you pay about $174. If you use 1 kilowatt hour over the 800, which is 801, you pay the rate of 26 cents, and your light bill would jump to $208, $34 for 1 kilowatt hour. See, these are the injustices that is going on in Grand Bahama. And let me say this. A lot of the protests and the anger in the people of Grand Bahama has to do with meter guesstimation, just guesstimating your usage.
No proper reading of the meter.
Yeah, guesstimation of meter reading, right? So they're not reading the meters. So what they did was, okay, for the month of May, they look at what you use in May of 2019, not to say estimate your last 3 bills and then see what it came out to and then charge you based on that. No, what they did was to look at what you did last year. Last year may have been a good month. May have been a good month for the residents of Grand Bahama. We were not on lockdown. So residents may have been using a little air conditioning. Residents may have been doing a little extra washing and drying because they're working, right? And so your bill was at a particular rate. And so what they did, they used last year, whatever month that they charged you for this year, that they didn't read the meters, whether it was April, May, June, or July, they charge you based on your consumption for 2019. And therefore, persons who may have even fall within the 300 kilowatt hour this year, usage this year, ended up falling within the 800 kilowatt hour based on what they used last year. And so now you as the consumer have to get in there, go in there and argue, but I didn't have no power, I didn't have no AC, I didn't have this, right? And there's no rebate. There is no rebate. They don't give you any cash back. And so you don't have access to your money. They may take something off a bill for next month or what have you, but you do not have access to your money. There is no rebate system in the whole process. And so again, Grand Bahamians are totally disenfranchised. There is no good opportunity for Bahamians, for residents of Grand Bahama when it comes to the manner in which Emera functions. I'm telling you, we need help. Of course, yes, we need the politicians, we need the church, we need the all of our unions, all of the workers, because I am here and I've always supported the CCC and became a member because of my position in the union. We represent workers, and it is workers who are burdened and saddled with the bills. It is the workers who have to go through the anxiety of finding money and making decisions as to whether you pay power bill or you pay mortgage, whether you purchase the medicine that you need, that your children need, or you pay the power bill and keep the power on.
And that shouldn't happen. And I've always said that should never happen, but you got to decide what to pay for when both are important. Gentlemen, we're out of time. We're going to continue to watch and see how this transpires in Grand Bahama and hope that there is some resolution at the end of the day. Kirk Russell, Pastor Eddie Victor, thank you for joining me tonight. Appreciate it. And stay with us. Your inspiration segment is next.